High above a quiet Philippine village, a pair of burning eyes watches from the branches of a massive tree. The figure is huge, shadowy, and calmly smoking a cigar that never seems to go out. This is the Kapre, one of the most famous and misunderstood creatures in Filipino folklore. In the next few minutes, we'll unpack what a Kapre is, where the stories come from, and why people still talk about them today. In most Filipino stories, a Kapre is a tree-dwelling giant, tall, muscular, covered in dark or hairy skin, and often described as smelling of tobacco or the forest. It's almost always male, rarely leaves its tree, and is recognized by its ever-burning cigar. Unlike vampires or monsters that thirst for blood, the Kapre is more of a watcher and trickster than a pure killer. It sits, observes, and occasionally interferes with human lives. Folklorists link Kapre stories to pre-colonial beliefs in forest spirits, but also to the Spanish colonial period. One theory connects the name Kapre to the Spanish word cafre, used as a slur for dark-skinned people. Some historians think Spaniards reused existing stories of tree spirits to stereotype indigenous and African-looking natives as wild or savage. Over time, these influences blended with older animist beliefs, creating the modern image of a dark giant in the trees. Kapre tales are common across the Philippines, especially in rural areas with old, towering trees. Children are warned, don't play near that balete tree at night, there's a Kapre there. Specific trees, mango, tamarind, and balete or banyan trees, often get reputations as Kapre homes. Some families still point to a single tree and say that's where he sits, and adjust their behavior accordingly. Depending on who you ask, a Kapre might be terrifying or oddly protective. Some stories paint it as a prankster that twists travelers' sense of direction, making them walk in circles. Others say a Kapre falls in love with a human, watching over them from its tree. There are tales where it scares away worse spirits, or even warnings, if you respect its tree, it might leave you alone, or quietly help your family. The same giant in the branches can be a threat, a neighbor, or a secret bodyguard. Classic signs of a Kapre encounter include the strong smell of tobacco when no one is smoking, or seeing a cigar's red glow up in a tree. People report hearing heavy footsteps on the roof, branches moving with no wind, or feeling watched from above. In some folk cures, if you're repeatedly lost or sick, an elder might advise offering tobacco or food at the foot of a suspect tree to appease the Kapre and ask it to stop. Kapres share traits with other Filipino and Southeast Asian beings. In some regions, they blend with the idea of a nuno sa punso, a dwarf earth spirit in anthills, but scaled up to tree size. They're compared to giants in Western stories, or to Malaysian and Indonesian forest spirits that guard specific trees. These similarities suggest a larger pattern. Across tropical cultures, people imagine powerful beings inhabiting old trees, turning the forest into a community full of personalities. Kapre stories do more than scare kids. They teach respect for nature and boundaries. Warning children about Kapres keeps them away from dangerous heights and unstable old trees. Telling people not to cut down a Kapre's tree without permission helps preserve shade trees and sacred groves. These tales also encode social rules. Don't wander too late, don't disrespect elders, and don't treat the forest like it's empty. The Kapre is a face for all those unseen consequences. Today, the Kapre shows up in comics, horror films, and games, sometimes redesigned as a full horror monster, sometimes as a misunderstood guardian. Urban Filipinos who have never lived near a forest still know the silhouette. Big, dark, smoking in a tree. Online, artists reimagine Kapres with headphones, living in city parks, or as environmental guardians. The creature has moved from oral tales to pop culture, but it still carries that mix of fear, humor, and respect for the unseen. So, what is a Kapre? It's a giant in the tree, a legacy of pre-colonial spirits and colonial labels, a warning wrapped in a story, and now a symbol in modern Filipino identity. Whether you see it as a monster, a guardian, or just a great horror concept, the Kapre reminds us that for many Filipinos, trees and forests are never just background. They're inhabited, watched, and worth respecting, just in case someone up there is still quietly smoking and listening. Pindutin ang like button at mag-subscribe para sa mas marami pang ganitong awesome content.